Okay, I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong. There's this notion that you've probably heard that says something along the lines of, you should find a job that you're so passionate about that it doesn't feel like work. I was wrong in thinking this notion had to be true for me to feel happy or fulfilled with work. Hi everyone, if you're new here, I'm KJ. I received my Aerospace Engineering degree from MIT, and I've since switched industries to get to the senior software engineer title that I have today. In this video, I'll discuss why my mindset has shifted, how I find happiness and fulfillment today, and ultimately why your work does not have to be the source of your fulfillment. So where was my mindset at? If you would have asked younger me, say before I turned 22 years old and my whole life living up through MIT and before MIT, I would say I was happy or fulfilled if I was the CEO of a tech company that I started myself. I was wrong in thinking that I would only feel happy and fulfilled in my engineering endeavors if I was a founder of my own successful tech company. Back in college, if you asked me what I wanted to do in my life, it would all be career focused and would most likely include something around becoming the CEO of my own tech company. As entrepreneurs, I used to look up to the likes of Zuckerberg and Elon. I wanted my own billion-dollar company. My why and my North Star would always revolve around my career because I viewed my success as the title that I obtained wherever I worked. And for me to be at the peak of my success, I thought that I had to be CEO because that was the highest title I could possibly hold. For the longest time, this was my entire mindset. So at the end of 2020, just 6 months removed from graduating at MIT, I was one of the lead engineers at one startup, helping form the initial product of another startup, on the cusp of 100,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel, and grappling with my graduate school future at Stanford. Since all of my goals had to do with my career, everything that I did was to progress my career forward as fast as humanly possible. And as I was progressing as fast as I was receiving equity in these companies, as I was getting paid a really good amount of money, I started to lose focus of what now I know to be the most important thing in my life, which is my health. If you've been watching my videos, you know that back in 2021, I developed 2 autoimmune diseases in my kidneys. Outside of my loved ones, I'd lost pretty much everything that I thought was important at the time. My face got so big that I felt uncomfortable going in front of the camera. My mind felt like I couldn't actually work at the startups that I did, and I physically couldn't play the sports that I love or do the things that I love, like lifting weights. I was stripped down so far that I needed to work really hard to find who I was and figure out truly what motivates me moving forward, because it can't be these things that I have no control over. Understand that at this time I was working as a contractor at multiple startups. So when I got sick and I was in the hospital for a month, I couldn't work. So I lost my source of income. As I said, I didn't feel comfortable coming on camera with everything that was happening to me. So I lost YouTube and that source of income. And then the only things that typically kept me sane throughout my life, which were basketball and lifting weights, I also couldn't do because my body wasn't capable of doing it anymore. Fundamentally, my illnesses were things that I had no control over. They were autoimmune. The doctors confirmed that there were no true causes for my diseases. So I knew that I needed to shift my sources of happiness and fulfillment to aspects of my life that I did have control over. So this meant that for work, I wasn't focused on the specific title that I would achieve at said company. I was just focused on putting my best foot forward, showing my skills in the best way possible, and ultimately pushing a product forward that I built and that I had my fingerprints all over. I wanted customers and users that loved the products that I built. That gave me a lot of fulfillment. And then later on in this video, I'll talk about how this bled into other aspects of my life, how I started to really just think about things in a different light. And it was all around this premise of controlling what I can control and basing my goals with the areas of life that I can control. So what does this mean for work, and how can you apply this to your own life? For me, I think about everything under the lens now of controlling what you can control. And with fulfillment, you're basically controlling what in your life you're actually putting the most value in to make you happy. For all the things that are going on in your life, you're choosing what it is that keeps you going every day. What makes you wake up in the morning and feel good going into work or just tackling life. And probably my biggest takeaway with respect to work is that my fulfillment doesn't have to solely come from my work. I thought that my work had to be my passion, that it had to be in an industry that I was insanely passionate about, and that I'd wake up every day just wanting to do that work day in and day out. And that would be when I was truly happiest. But I think that doesn't have to be the case. And I'll get into further discussion later on in this video, but it was me getting sick that made me rethink how I approached work and how I approached fulfillment in my own head. Of course, there has to be alignment between you and the company you work for. Otherwise, you wouldn't be at the job you're at. But I was wrong in thinking that a company is a good fit for me if and only if I get fulfillment from every aspect of their business. For example, the primary customers of the company I work at right now are credit unions. I'm not a credit union stan by any means, nor do I see myself still working with credit unions 10 years down the line, but I get to work with some bleeding edge AI tech on a day-to-day basis. I get to grow as a software engineer and as an engineering leader, as I learn a whole new industry that I wouldn't have otherwise explored. And in all of this, there's joy and fulfillment in my individual pursuit of finding what my true potential is. If I can control what I can control on a daily basis by working hard, being a great teammate, and voicing any ideas that I have, I can sleep well at night knowing that I'm not only providing value to my company, but also allowing myself to grow. And every day as I dive further into software engineering as a profession, and as I learn the different intricacies of the different aspects of a cloud distributed system, I'm just building up a knowledge toolkit that I'm really proud of myself. I have a degree in aerospace engineering. I pretty much self-taught and through internships pushed my way into software engineering. And today I'm a senior software engineer and continuing to learn every day on my job. I hope in the very near future to become a staff engineer and then maybe a principal engineer. I don't know. Maybe I'll end up starting my own company ultimately, but in this whole pursuit of finding myself, I'm really just focusing on putting my best foot forward and seeing what comes of it. Having an open mind and learning everything that I can from the teammates around me is really what I'm focusing on at the moment. And although you can find fulfillment and happiness at work based on your own progression and your own trajectory, all of your fulfillment and happiness doesn't have to come from work. Work can enable you to work on the things that bring you your fulfillment. At this point, I'm able to provide a ton of value to the company I work for. And in turn, they give me the time to pursue the other endeavors and activities I have going on in my life. When you're the CEO or CTO of your own company, there's a different level of responsibility that you have to your business, your investors, and to your employees. You have to live and breathe the company. As an employee, yes, my salary is more or less capped to my agreed upon salary, but in turn, my hours are more or less capped by a 40-hour work week. So I have the bandwidth to do what I want outside of the confines of my typical 8-hour workday. So for me, my work enables me the time, enables me the mental and physical bandwidth to pursue my businesses. I have Aspire Mentors, which has been off to a great start. At this point, I've onboarded 10 mentees who all seem to be receiving great value from the program, and I get to personally interact with these people and help them on their journeys of unlocking their true potential. I have my social media platforms on Instagram and YouTube and now TikTok, where I can give shorter form ideas, thoughts, and insights to a broader audience to hopefully help more people than I previously thought was even possible. And then I get to do things like play basketball, lift weights that help my body function at its peak performance. I get to feel my best and do my best. I get to have time to sleep, and so my physical health gets taken care of. I also get to deal with my mental health and get to play Fortnite with the boys any given weeknight. I get to watch Laker games with my family, and even if there's 82 games in a year, I can watch every single Laker game because I've allowed myself the time and space to do so. I also get to explore new experiences with Michelle and my loved ones because I have now the funds and the mental bandwidth to actually go do it. Because of my salary, I was also able to start my endeavors without needing any sort of outside investment or loans. I was able to hire a video editor to work with me, a business coach to help me through the process, and a team of accountants to work on my finances around the clock. I was also able to afford the various upfront costs of starting a business, including things like formalizing an LLC, buying domain names, and subscribing to necessary services like Squarespace and Dropbox. So where do I find happiness and fulfillment today? Well, I find a bunch of happiness and fulfillment doing what I'm doing right now. I get to help hundreds of thousands of people a month with my free content on both YouTube and Instagram. I get to share my story, share my insights, share my advice to the masses, where hopefully I get to help just a few people. If one person really resonates with this video and takes takes action on it and progresses their life even further, then that's all the fulfillment I need. At this point, I'm not worried about the views, about the likes, about my subscriber count. I just want to help people. And then with Aspire Mentors, I get to push that mission forward even further, and I get to help a few aspiring individuals at a time with each Aspire Mentors cohort. I get to personally work with them and get to personally see their development as they progress in their career or their academic journeys. Health-wise, I'm gaining a lot of fulfillment and happiness just gaining my athleticism back. I've lost now 65-ish pounds, almost 20% body fat, and getting close to where I feel like I was before I got sick. And so I'm making the most of it. I'm playing basketball as many times a week as I possibly can. I'm doing plyometrics. I'm even trying to get back into yoga and stability training, just doing whatever I can to get back physically to where I was before. And heck, I'm not even gonna stop there. I'm gonna try to progress even further than where I was before. Lastly, what brings me happiness and fulfillment is just spending time with my loved ones. As I mentioned, my salary gives me the ability to just have these experiences more often. I have a bigger bucket in my guilt-free spending now, where I'm just using that money to take weekend trips with Michelle, to travel across the country to see my mom on Mother's Day, to go see a concert in Florida because I can. And being able to do those things and enjoy these experiences, especially given the backdrop of knowing that my life is fundamentally fragile, that brings me fulfillment. So I know this video got pretty deep, but if you like this video, let me know in the comment section. Give this video a like and subscribe to more videos in the future. YouTube thinks this video will be good for you to watch, so go check that one out too. And as always, stay inspired, stay positive, and I'll see you in the next one.